Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. This is a UKGE Expo 2023 4K recording by the hall that I brought back. I'm leaning just to make sure you see more of the stuff in shot. Everything's piled up, so the smaller stuff's going to go at the front. I'm eating another one of these like lozenges for my throat. There's a prototype, it's going to kind of stay out of shot, you might still see it a little bit. But next up, we've got some sleeves, so that's going to be coming with a game I'm going to show in a second. These are swan sleeves. They say they're customised for Reichelt 75mm by 105. If you're watching this as a short, head through to YouTube to watch the full video. Also, if you want to see this, you can head over to Instagram as well. I've played this game before, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Higher than average rating myself for this. Previously given this a 7, and look forward to talking to you about actually how to set and play and read it. It is a deception game, literally all it is. So next up we have Yin Yang. So this is Yin Yang Life of Gentry. This is by Meadas. I've already brought a video channel about that. Nice big Galaxy style ticket style box. Stick that right at the back. Equal of that size, we've got Adventureland. Old school copy of Adventureland, very much enjoy it. 2015 from some of the best designers of all time, Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling. Next up, Alexander Pfister, also one of my top 10 designers. Skymines, checking my playlists to do with those guys as well over a course on YouTube. Decorum might take the space of Holly or Holy for me. That is Floodgate Games, who recently acquired the rights to all the games with PSC games, aside from all the miniature related war games. This very much appeals to me. I've obviously got WizKids, I think, playlists as well. I do have a Floodgate playlist as well. Rebuilding Seattle looks very interesting. This kind of economic kind of game as well. I do have a playlist with Aeon's End set up at the front, so check my co-op plays for that as well. Next up, let's grab some more games. So you might have seen my Bucket King 3D video, my game of the month. Same artist, someone want to check this one out. This is a real-time game. Check out my real-time playlist. Pick a polar bear. Let's see how well that sits. Next up, this is an expansion. This won the UKGE Expo expansion, or best expansion. This is the B-movie expansion for Roll Camera. Bringing you videos to the channel about that, and some smaller packs you can play with it. Also check out that UKGE Expo playlist. More expansions for Hero Quest, and this abstract strategy game, check my playlist for that, for Grinto, and that's by Richard Yana. So let's move that out of the way. Next up, we have another game from Tristan Hall, but a new system, hence me trying it out. Shadows of Kelforth. Check out my videos for 1565 and seeing what you think of that one. Next up, Pan Am. I've heard good things. A strategy game from Prospero Hall, I think it is. And in this instance, it's by Funko. Yeah, by Prospero Hall. Very interested to try this one out. A lot more Euro compared to other games. Now, the last games by Wise Wizards. Speaking of playmats, Hero Realms and Star Realms, Frontiers, and also Sorcerer, which I'll come back onto. Oh, this leaning isn't good for me. Kapow! Met a lovely chap who I was gaming with, and that is called Kapow. It's a new game that he's been playing a lot of and really enjoying. Back to co-op, so we've got Endangered, another game by Graham Gamers Guild. That is something I'm looking forward to checking out. There's a live crowdfunding. I went live on the 30th of May, so watch this now. Check out more stuff from Graham Gamers Guild. Might be gamefound, might be Kickstarter, but I'll let you discover that if you want to check that out. I saw this at Spiel. I think it sold out. It's called Nacho Pile. Luckily, Pandasaurus. It's the first time, I believe, with the UKGE Expo. Great to chat to people there again. Now, Packaged. This is a 5-10 minute game from the same area or stand as D and Dice. I'll come on to that in a second about D and Dice. But this is the Kickstarter edition, so I've got a few videos for Kickstarter stuff. An absurd abstract strategy of package delivery. So as I said, 5 to 10 minutes, 2 to 4 players, and ages 14 plus. So let's see if I can pop that whilst it's near here. There is Roll Camera, and this bit does come out and flap, I think, so I saw people playing this in the open halls. There's so much other things I was checking out, playing a lot of other people's games. You'll see videos coming soon about those videos. So this is a trick-taking game where you cannot follow. I love trick-taking games, my first things I got into. One of the most watched videos on the channel is Wizard. So this is also Pandasaurus. In fact, I've got 2 copies. Also by Pandasaurus, it is a bigger box. It's on Boardgamearena. Over 75 videos, number 1 on there. So checking that out, maybe I'll make it 2. Where am I? Alice in a Mad Tea Party. China pieces, 20 minutes, 2 to 4 duration, age 8 plus. This is developed in Japan, made in China. Now the publisher, I can't recall because I don't write on the box, but I believe it is a Taiwanese company. And I look forward to checking this out because it uses Chinese pieces. It might be a Japanese company, but I can't recall how to pronounce their name. I will come back to that. Come back to PSC. You might see my videos for Blitzkrieg and Caesar. This is the third in the series, a different designer, but it is the same artist, which is why that really appealed. Let's chuck that up there for now. And staying that theme and time, Battle of Britain. What is more apt and relevant than that by Osprey? My first video probably by Osprey. I will be doing a video from somebody else's copy of Undaunted, but this is the latest, the fourth in the season. I have maybe mentioned it, you may have seen me mention it before, that on my mother's side of the family they housed Americans during World War II and also in their factories, and also made clothing for the British Army as well, and the officers. Back to Hero Quest, another expansion. So you might have seen my video to Hero Quest, well I've got the new edition, and that is obviously Avalon Hill, so make sure you check that out. Now the big bad boy, Stalingrad. This is a campaign game. Played over 30 campaign games and legacy games. This has been, well, needs resetting actually to play that through again. And that's one chair down, or two chairs down now. Right, let's move on to the next stuff. Obviously like, share, hit the notification bell, email your comments, we think the best. All your UKGames Expo stuff over here. Some promos for Sagrada. We've got a company here which I couldn't recall earlier the pronunciation. Yeah, Play With Us. So this is Animania. So that's another game I wanted to check out there too. And because of their size, there's nice pictures on Instagram of these guys. Soloing, also on boardgamearena. We've also got Aves, which is a lovely, beautiful looking bird. And an expansion and a base game for Vitamors. So there we go, Conspirio. And they're slightly different in actually how they are. But again, this is a Taiwanese game where they speak Mandarin, I believe. Strong Point, this is a trivia game whereby you're trying to bet on how well somebody actually is. And if they are, watch out, there might be a new delivery coming any second now. I do have some more stuff on its way. This is a game whereby if you think someone's very good at something, then you're going to think they're going to score very well. I spoke to somebody about it and they said, oh great, now you're going to either insult me or obviously maybe give them some compliments. Next up we have a game, we're about half the way, just over half the way through all these games so far. And I'm going to mention a competition at this point. So one of these games that you're going to see is going to be sent to you directly from the publisher. What they're going to be doing is, finding out via Linktree, via various things such as on YouTube. I'll probably have a form for you to fill in, but somebody in the UK, they're not doing global shipping, but if you live in the UK, you're welcome to enter this. You will be winning your copy of one of these games, okay? So I made sure I had some kind of prompt or something like that to do that, based on a timer and things like that. So there will be one game coming soon to somebody. But next up we have got a word game. This is by Alphabet Runner, and let me just check. This is based. Did have another copy which is signed by the designer, which I'll come on to. There it is, underneath something else. So there it is. So that is signed by the creator. There we go. That's pretty cool. So I know they were doing a competition to do with £1,000 or something, or £2,000 if you won it. Back on roll camera, so we have a little story pack, superhero, another story pack, a murder mystery. What else do we have? We have got the other copy of that trick taker I mentioned. We've got the Three Little Wolves by Pocky Design. We have got, this is one of the funniest ever Kickstarters I've ever seen. Wonderbow, based in Hamburg in Germany. Hunters of the Lost Creatures. Next up, we have got Walking Brano, Roll and Write. So these are the people who did Hanakoji, which is the two-player game. This is by Maimin, I believe it's called. And as you might have noticed, a bit of a soft spot for some of these sort of Eastern Asian games. In particular, Metro X, which you might find on the channel, over by Game Right. Check out my playlists for that. I played it first when I was out in Japan initially. A modern Asian dice game by Daryl Chow. I met Daryl. I've got an expansion of this game too. This is Walk and Roll. I do worry about puns in some games, and so obviously I hope it's better than that. But this is designed in Singapore. Now the funny thing is, my name being Simon Lavender, this is kind of lavender colour. Crucially, I said, oh, Lavender Station, which I've been to, and he laughed, and he said, oh, do you know why it's called Lavender Station? And it's because the area stinks, he says. So, Itchy Feet, the travel game. This is by the people, it is actually the publisher who did Roll Camera, but the owner of Roll Camera, as in the publisher, made this game, or he was the person who actually designed it. He didn't design Roll Camera though. Next up, a promo for a game I'll bring you to in a second. This is Beacon Patrol, and we've got like an oil rig and some dolphins. We've got some promos for Port Royals. Check my video for that. That's got a few thousand views. We've got the Ming Roy Voyages. We talked about some promos, also sleeves. That is because it's by Surprise Day Games. They've got a Kickstarter coming out in December. Well, no, Gamefound, I believe it is. Either way, make sure you subscribe to both of them or ultimately follow along on Surprise Stare for 1 to 2 players. Now, I have played other games by this company. Also Frosted Games, oh, and Two Tomatoes who I know as well, and they happen to be, and it's in the Pocket Campaign series. That's the games I was talking to you about would be the Cousins War. So next up, another in that side of things, we have the March of Progress. It's a 2-player micro war game. We have dice, we can see dice distancing, see how fast dice roll, and whether or not you use dice tray. Over 75 videos, and there is Beacon Patrol. Basically like Carcassonne, but you're moving ships around. 1 to 4 players, this can go in the solo playthrough list as well. 30 minutes, ages 8+. There we go, that's what it looks like on the back. Next up, what else do we have? Oh, excuse the noise. We have got, so yeah, more things. We have got one of the most beautiful looking games. A game that, when I said, oh, I've got this, straight away people went have to buy it. Killer whale, sperm whale, ocean pods. Might be plastic in the ocean, and you'll have a catch-up mechanism whereby if 3 pieces of plastic appear, everybody loses. So naturally, if you're winning the game, everybody else goes, well, I don't care about the plastic if we all lose. It's a very cool idea. The people did Great Lakes, 2 to 5 players, 30-45 minutes, ages 11+. And Lee, I have met, is, I don't know if he designed it. He is the publisher though, so yes, but £5 goes to charity with this company's game. Great price at the UK Games Expo. Well, I won't mention the price in case they have listed it elsewhere and they wish to share this video. I mentioned Wise Wizards, and I've got some sleeves for source for us, that'd be good. Also, I do a sleeving playlist. More sleeves, obviously for a surprise there. We've got some promo cards, but they look a lot like they are, I don't know, something you can use different, like a business card, the 3 of the Wolves. Okay, Vault. So this is from the D-Day Dice people as well, and I want to check that out. I don't know if that is like a promo copy or whatever that is, a prototype perhaps. A badge. So this is because Vitamores, I mentioned earlier, it won an award. So that is very cool. I have actually aided with some of these games I've won before. We have a player aid for the Ming Emperor, so that's pretty cool as well. Some more promos and Fog of Love stuff with Sagrada. Oh My Orchids, I think this one as well, a Game of the Year award from the UK Games Expo 2023 by Daryl Chow, who I mentioned earlier in Singapore. So yes, for anyone to check out again, they've gone with that pun thing. Next up, another lovely flower themed stuff. We have Tulip Bubble by Gemaya, just game design, and this is designed by Coyle. And yeah, you want to check this out. Looks like it might well be Dutch merchant. So here we go, stuff to check out when we get to it. Made in Taiwan. More stuff in that neck of the woods. We have got Wonderful Board Games, I believe they're called. And Wonderful World. There we go. They've got different titles actually on their games. So this is a way of tile pieces. They're going to be filling out cards and trying to complete them. More dice distancing going on. Animals gathering. Right, let's see if we're still in shot. And see what else we can pick up. So we will probably go out of shot, but we have D-Day Dice, as I mentioned. Emmanuel Quinn. So we've got lots of badges down here. And lots of people seem to have it. I thought it was a solo game, but it's a 1 to 4 player game. 14 plus 45 minutes. Let's see if that stays in place. Next up, a heavy game by David Cersei, who I met, speaking a bit of Hungarian with him, by Mighty Boards. I don't know if it's a Flemish company, but I know someone who does speak Flemish there in Belgium. This is a very interesting game where it does say it's easy to learn, but deep and heavy to master. I want to check this one out as well. And of course, I do play lots of heavy games like Tekkenu. It's regarded not as heavy as that according to those online, but the woman I spoke with, she said it is. I won't mention her name as well, but yes, I enjoying speaking with them. They're now following over on Instagram. Next up, we have Sniper Elite. David Thompson, we've mentioned already with Undaunted series. So this is by Rebellion Unplugged, and this is the latest one that they're kind of really keen on. 10 unique minis, so I'll get some minis painted as well. Let's see if we can leave that partially in shot too. Okay, we have got a prototype. This is because it's a 4X game. I was very keen to understand more about this, and I might have seen an advert for it or something. I thought, oh, that's a game we want to check out. So yeah, there's 60-90 minutes, so look forward to seeing how this goes. Based in India, I was speaking Hindi with them. And last but not least, we have a D&D game. It was 140 RRP, on the show it was £110. This is again by WizKids, and here we have, it is Onslaught. It is a skirmish game, but it's not just, for example, for 2 players, like All Out War, which you may have seen on the channel before. But in this case, it is for a more wider variety of players. It does say 2 players, in fact, sorry, I'm thinking of a different game, and it's 90+ minutes, so I think someone told me something different. But in this instance, it's 90 minutes, we're going into the D&D realm, and of course using these various high-octane miniatures Again, all unique figures as well. So I don't know how we're going to work on those, whether they're painted already or they do something like that. But there we are. Core sets, everything 2 players needed. You do need to, well, you'll be knowing a bit of 5e knowledge, but if you don't know any of it, don't worry. It's just, obviously, it might come to you as well. There we go. Let's just chuck that on top. I don't know, maybe like this. And any questions, like I said, daily videos, more stuff on its way. Video scheduled to release another month at current pace. And here we go. But for now, back to the table.